My name's Gail, and you've probably read the title of this video. It's another weird one. I don't really like reacting to things live and then just responding without writing a complex essay about it and then spending 20 hours of my life editing it together. But I don't want to put that much effort into the Artemis Fowl movie. So instead, I'm borrowing a format from another YouTuber where I'm just going to go watch the movie after recording this, and then we'll come back here and I'll tell you what I think. Here's what my guess is going to be. I guess my first guess is that it's going to be garbage, and the second guess is that even as just a fantasy fic and not like an Artemis Fowl movie, it's still going to be garbage. So we'll see if either of those are challenged even a little bit by this movie. I also have an emotional support Pokemon, so I know I'm going to be okay. Hopefully. Not have terrible nightmares about the garbage I'm about to see. So, we're gonna go watch this movie, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you about it. Alright? Wish me luck.
One awful movie later.
So that was a movie. I think. It did have a beginning and a middle and an end. And it was visual and sound-based. So yes, it was a movie. I didn't like it. I think it's kind of obvious. I don't think anyone liked this movie. I don't think the people who wanted to make this movie liked this movie. Okay, I'm going to try to be brief, because there's a lot of things I could rant about how this movie sucks, and I don't want to waste 40 minutes of your time talking about this movie more than it deserves. The first thing is, yes, it was entirely family-friendly. So much so that they diluted every character into a subpar version of themselves. They had to change everyone. They couldn't leave anyone like they were. Obviously, Artemis's dad was not even in the first book. And when he does show up, he's not the most supportive, I'm a great dad. Artemis himself is so much more open with his emotions, which is weird to say because that's, good for you if you're like a normal person. But if you're Artemis Fowl, criminal mastermind who's going to kidnap fairies and hold them for ransom to try to get a boatload of gold, or in this case, to try to have them figure out where the thing in your house is, because you don't know where the MacGuffin in your house is. Not supposed to be so buddy-buddy with everybody, and so friendly, and I'm scared, and I'm crying, and I'm sad, and I have daddy and mom issues. So not cool. Poor Juliet Butler is in this. I didn't expect her to be in this because honestly she didn't need to be in this, and the movie agreed. She did absolutely nothing. They were like, oh, she's a judo master and she's 12. Also not right. And so she played little to no part in the entire movie. In fact, there was a point where Holly calls her by her name to, save her from getting attacked by the troll. And I was just sitting there going, how do you know her name? You've barely seen her, twice. How do you know who she is? Holly, oh, poor Holly. I really feel bad for her. Some parts, they didn't ruin, like, her job or who she technically was, but Holly was so much more of, like, a solid character in the books. And I mean that as in, like, she took charge, she had agency over her own actions, and she was very much, like, not, like, wishy-washy, I'm sorry, I'll wait for someone else to tell me what to do. She was like, no, this is what I think is right. I'm gonna do what I think is right. Screw what everybody else thinks. And she was, she was tough and cool. And this Holly is in a chandelier screaming for help because she needs help. Can't get herself out of the chandelier. No. Mulch Diggums is suddenly big now. I don't remember him being a human-sized dwarf. Maybe that's just me misremembering. But I don't remember him having weird dwarfism issues. Butler is, he's interesting. I guess, he just doesn't get to do a lot. He serves a very specific purpose. He's the wise mentor character, and that's all he's allowed to be. He exposits, hears about your dad, and then he kind of punches and stuff, but, like, at the same time, he only does it when everybody else is already doing the same things. Like, he has a shootout with fairies, but then Artemis is also on the side shooting them, so he doesn't look any more cooler or more well-trained than anyone else. The 12-year-old's keeping up with him, so how cool can he be, It's really dumb. Everything about this movie is dumb. Visually, it has its moments. I mean, it's set in Ireland, and I'm assuming they filmed relatively close. So, like, the outdoors looks pretty because it naturally already looked pretty. You don't need movie magic to make that happen. But Underground Haven looked awful. It was hideous. There were times where they would do these animation effects and magic, and then everything would lag to, like, 10 frames per second. And I don't know if that was a choice or they just, like, processed the movie once and were like, I don't care enough to fix those issues and try again. There's Foley the Centaur. Every time his horse body moves, I died laughing because it looks so stupid and unnatural. I'm pretty sure Percy Jackson had better centaur animation, and that was years ago. Gosh, what else? There's so much in this movie that's bad. I don't understand why they had to make it not about the first book. Originally, I thought maybe this would work, like a series of unfortunate events. If you've seen that movie, it takes, like, the first 3 books and smushes them together. And I actually enjoy that movie. Not like I love it, but it's an enjoyable movie, and the way they put it together makes sense. It's got a cool style to it. But this, like, I thought maybe this would be similar, where they were gonna go, okay, here's the first book and here's the second book, since they already were, like, mixing features about it. But, like, 90% of the movie was the first book. Badly done, but it was. And then the other, like, 10% of the movie was, let's instead, in order to fix the first book's problem of the main character being the villain, let's give him the motivation of the second book caused by a villain from, like, the 3rd or 4th book, and just wang-jangle it together so that we can have a family-friendly message. It was just stupid. I think a key thing that would explain, why this movie is so bad to me is that they pull the Martha from freaking Batman versus Superman. Artemis meets up with Holly, and Holly's like, oh yeah, I hate you. You've captured me. That you're a bad person, and we're gonna get you. And Artemis is all like, yeah, no, I'm too smart for you. He's not smart in this movie at all. He's not smart at all. But I need your help. And somehow they get to the topic of dads, and Artemis is like, I need this to save my kidnapped dad. And Holly's like, yeah, well, my dad's dead. And then Artemis is immediately like, you have a dad issue too? That makes us friends. I can trust you now. And he like removes his mirrored sunglasses. And he's like, let me stare at you eye to eye. Let's get intimate for a moment, Even though you have mind control powers that are based on being able to just look into my eyes. That's it. And then they're friends because their dads are gone. There's a lot in this movie that's poorly put together, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Artemis never plans anything. They kind of just exposit, oh, and he's ready with his plan. Mulch Diggums, side note, normally I would like Mulch Diggums. I liked him enough in the books. He was, both the best and the worst part of this movie. The worst because his voice, and Commander Root's voice were both gravelly and rough and awful to listen to for the entire film. And then, he has this whole thing for like the first half of the movie where he's, doing the interview thing like in the trailer, but he keeps breaking in and being like, and so Artemis went to look for a fairy. And then Artemis now had his fairy and she was kidnapped. And so now he had to work with the fairies. Oh, now Artemis and Doughboy are doing stuff in the background. And, he just kept cutting in with the stupid, he's telling a story, but we passed that point 30 minutes ago. He could shut up. They attempted some jokes. Some of them, I guess, might be found funny. Most of the time I was laughing at how bad things looked in the background, and how bad the acting was. There was one funny joke that I did laugh at where, Holly asks for her gun back and Butler reaches into his pocket and he's looking for it, and then Mulch just pulls it out and just hands it to her. That one was pretty funny. They tried to do a David Bowie joke. It only made me sad that David Bowie's name was mentioned in this movie. Yeah. There's just so much that was wrong with this movie, and it's not even enough to make me angry about it. I'm just sad that something that was so cool, like Artemis Fowl, was reduced to, let's teach a lesson about friendship, save an acorn MacGuffin. Nobody was bad. We were all just different levels of good. It sucked. It sucked. It sucked. So, there you go. That's my review of the Artemis Fowl movie. It sucked. I don't think it was good as an Artemis Fowl movie. And quite frankly, I don't think it was good as just a, hey, there's nothing in the background. It just made it up movie. Everything about it was just stupid. Lots and lots of stupid. So, yeah, that's my review. Don't watch it. Go read the books. And I'll see you in another not so sad and depressing episode. Bye-bye! Hi there, it's the end of the video, my friend. Hit the bell if it was okay, I'm sure I'll make good content someday. I'll play some games or do some drawing, Pokemon and fights with darling, video essays and reviews. I couldn't do it without you, so thanks, like and subscribe.